Hello folks, this is John again, and today I want to clean up my plugins folder. And yeah, I thought while I'm at it, I can talk to you about all the stuff that I use or don't use. And I accumulated quite a bit of stuff, free plugins that I tried out and just for fun, and amp simulation I tested out for myself, and it's all just hogging up my folders nowadays. Let's turn down the zoom here so you don't think I'm clipping all the time. So let's get to it. Right off the bat, hang on here, all this stuff up here is from Studio One. So of course I'm not going to get rid of any of that, it's just there. Then here my VST2 folder. Let's start from the beginning. Mastering. This is weird. Why do they put those two plugins in an extra mastering folder? It's not even mastering plugins. So Bittersweet is a free kind of transient designer, but I haven't tried this out too much yet, but I want to. It actually has a bit more of a fatter sound, and it doesn't sound too pointy when you accentuate the attack a little bit more. And I do want to make more use of this, so I'm going to keep that in here. Then the virtual mix rack. I don't actually have the full version here. I only have the free revival module, and I do use that quite a bit on my mix buses. And I also have the monster, I think. So let's check this out, what I got in here. Yeah, I also have the monster. I never used that one so far, though. Also gotta try that out one of these days. So let's keep those in here. And spatial, Reactor 5. So this comes with the free complete installation from Native Instruments. So I'm just going to keep that. Amplitude. Yeah, tested it out, didn't really catch my ears, so to speak, so that one can definitely go. I never use it. Let's see if we can just delete it right here. Yep. Okay, and it's gone. Let's see if we... No, it's still showing those. Okay. Perhaps I need to restart Studio One for this to really go away. Or can check out, there's another folder in here. You know, because Studio One can't actually use 32-bit plugins, so when I do have 32-bit plugins, I need to convert them to 64, and I use JBridge for that. So I have my extra bridged folder in here. Now let's go on. Baxter EQ. That's a free EQ by Variety of Sound, and this is really just a low and high shelf, and also low filtering and high filtering. I don't really use that all too much, but I do kind of feel it could come in handy in the future for vocals. It's actually not too bad sounding. Bias effects, that can definitely go. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's anywhere else as well. We'll just have to see later on. BOD, so this is by TSE, famous bass distortion plugin, but for me, I don't know why, this is giving me kind of weird hiccups. Like one time I would set it up nice and I have a great bass tone, and then the next time I open up the project, the bass is super loud and it's coming from this plugin. Something is messed up here. So I have to readjust everything, and then the next time I open up the project, the bass is super quiet again. So that's messed up. That can definitely go. It's not in this folder. It's here in its own VST here. It's TSE audio folder. So there's BOD. Then Boot EQ MK2. This is also by Variety of Sound. They make a couple of really good free plugins. It's very much worth to check out. And this is a kind of very nice coloring EQ. Here you have tube settings on or off, you have vintage and modern mode. And I do like this on vocals. So that's going to stay. Then D-Blue Glitch, we all know that one is going to stay. DC1A2, so this is something free by Klanghelm. I'm not quite sure what to make of this one. I don't really see any use for this for my mixes, so this can go. Then Defacer. Okay, this was a distortion plugin. I haven't really used this one yet, but I'm going to keep it because sometimes I do like to use distortion effects on different stuff. And sometimes I do have trouble finding the right kind of distortion. So having a bit more of that kind of stuff in my repertoire is not a bad way to go. Then Density Mark III. So this is again variety of sound. It's a free bus compression plugin. This is actually not bad at all. So you have a color knob in here where you get a bit more fatness and saturation. You have a wet dry mix knob. And here's an extra knob on how the release time behaves. And overall for a free plugin, this is really not bad at all. This is very much usable, but I personally don't really have much use for it. I do have my go-to plugins for different kinds of applications and I never really use this one. So that can go as well. Dominion. Up till now, this has been my go-to transient designer, so I'm going to keep that one, but still I need to compare this a little bit more with my Bittersweet plugin here and see which one I like better. Then Epic Verb. So this is again variety of sound, and this has a great plate plugin that works very well for snares. Depending on what kind of style I'm mixing, I do go for different kinds of plate sounds. This one works for a more thrashy kind of feel, so this is definitely going to stay, because you never know when you're going to need it. Ferrix TDS, so this is again variety of sound, a compression and saturation plugin, more for bus compression or for your mix bus, but I also never really use that. I have my go-to compression and saturation plugins, so that one can go. Okay. G-Clip, of course that's going to stay. I use that quite a bit nowadays to control the very high peaks on my drums. Then Guitar Rig, that again comes with the native instrument stuff. Hybrid. Okay, so that's Polin. I definitely do not use any free amp simulation plugins anymore. I mean, I have TH3 now and that thing just blows everything out of the water for me personally. So any of that free stuff can also go. IVGI, again Klanghelm. Okay, this is more of a distortion plugin. I do like this one. I put it on my room mics for the drums more often than not lately, because this kind of gives it a more ravaging sound, a bit more of a thrashy feel. And for what I'm doing right now, this fits very well. So that's going to stay in there. Then Isotope Dynamic Delay. This is a weird one. This has a weird concept for me. I never use it. So this changes the delay depending on how loud the volume is. For example, if you have guitar with a high peak for the pick attack, then it gives you a different delay mode for that peak than for the sustain that's below the threshold you set here. And this is weird. This is quite weird for me. I don't know what to make of it. Alright, Isotone Ozone 5. Usually I just use the VST3 version of that one, not the 2 version, but I don't know which of these two it is. Probably the smaller sized ones. Just to be safe, I'm going to keep it in there for now. And Isotope Vinyl. So as it says, this is a kind of gramophone simulator. It gives you a gramophone effect. I really like this one. This is also free. Get it, people. This is very good. Clip Freak. Another clipping plugin. I never used this one really. Nah, I like G-Clip better. So this one can go. Okay, Core Player. FX stuff that stays. It's also a native instrument. Live 456, Lecto, Legion, Lextech. Again, all the free Poland stuff. So this is old modeling generation. For free plugins, those are fantastic, of course, no question about that. But bottom line, still, they are, for me personally, those are all on par with the Pod X3 modeling. And that's just older generation, and it does show. Then Limited Z. This is a kind of limiter plugin with a couple of different modes, so you have different behaviors of the limiting that's happening. I don't like this for the mastering stage at all, but for drums this can actually make some really cool effects. It can actually add a lot of punch to them while of course being a limiter, keeping the peaks completely in check. So this is going to stay. I have to play around with this one a bit more though. I haven't really made much use of it so far. Then this thingy, also Clumhelm, another free compressor plugin. So this is a more subtle compressor plugin. I'm guessing a kind of LA2A type, but I never used this one. I have no need for it. I mean, I have the CLA compression pack from Waves, and there I have my LA2A that works wonderfully. So yeah. Then Nasty Delay Mark II, also variety of sound. This is a cool delay. I can highly recommend that one. It gives you a couple of different modes and options and delay patterns, and you can make some really cool filtering effects, and there's also chorus in here. This is all around a kind of delay that gives you everything you would ever need in a delay. Of course, you can see it's also a bit more complicated, so I really only use this when I want to have some funky effects. Then Pulse, so this is the Impulse Loader by Rosen Digital. Yeah, works well. It does what it's supposed to do, I suppose. Just going to keep it for now. Then a few Reaper plugins. This one is definitely going to stay. When you put it to subtract mode, then you can basically profile the noise floor of your signal with this one. Of course, you have, in order to do that, you need to record only the noise floor. So for a few seconds, you need to be absolutely silent. So you only have the noise. Then with this, you can profile the noise, and it kind of plays that back at the reverse phase or something around those lines. And I always use that for my mic recordings here, because the preamps and in the Scarlett interface are kind of just bleh. So this always gets used. It's going to stay. Then Rio.js. I never used this one. Don't know what it is. I suppose it has a bunch of different effects in here and whatnot. I'm going to keep it for now, because it seems like there's a couple of stuff in here I would like to just play around with. Then Reactor, again, Native Instrument stuff. Replica, so this is the free version of the Replica plugin, a delay plugin by Native Instruments again. This is pretty cool. I use that one quite a bit, so that's going to stay. Okay, Revelva, so I never used that one. Another amp simulator, that's okay. A lot of people like it, that's totally fine. For me personally, it didn't really wow me. Compared to the Pod HD Pro, at least at that time, it didn't give me any significant improvement. Then Rough Rider. Okay, another free compressor I got somewhere, never used this one. So that one can go. Virtual Tape Machine, that one of course stays. I use this all the time on my mix buses. Spark is going to stay, that's pretty cool. And the Supercharger, that one's going to stay. I also use this one quite a bit. And then for the saturation on my mix bus, or for a little bit of punchy parallel compression, this works also well. Tesla Pro MK2. Another saturation plugin by Variety of Sound. I never used that one, so I'm going to get rid of that. Then Thrill Seeker. Again, as you can see, there are 4 variations on this one. These are again Variety of Sounds. Yeah, those are again okay. If you want to have a free plugin, just give you a little bit of coloring, then I can recommend those. But again, I have my go-to plugins. So those I can also take out. All the Thrill Seeker stuff in here. Torpedo Wall of Sounds. Yeah. Another one of those things that's amazingly hyped, but didn't really do anything for me. Track Spacer. Okay, this was some kind of demo version, I suppose, because it's requiring a serial code. I think the Track Spacer is kind of a multi-band compressor that only works on the low end. But I have multi-band compression. So this one can go. Transient. Yeah, never used that one. Trigger. Of course I'm going to keep. TSP1. Okay, distortion plugin by Ignite Amps, never used it. TSC 1.0, Tube Screamer by Mercurial, I never used that. Oh, this one I don't like. I think this is a Proco Red emulation by TSE, I totally don't like it. Then the 808, I also never used that one. So this again, all the kind of stuff. I have TH3, I never use any of that, so we can get rid of all of that. And the X50 demo, yeah, it's okay. Again, one of those things that lots of people like, but for me it doesn't do much, so we can just get rid of this whole folder. Okay, and then the U530 by Mercurial. That one I like a little bit more. Depending on what kind of job I'm going to get in the future and what kind of tones the client may want, I'm going to keep this one. It's going to work quite well for more modern stuff, but the free version, don't need that one. And now, the rest in here. And now, so most of this stuff is from the Waves Gold bundle. This is all Waves, although I never used any of that. Delay, this is all Waves. Again, the dynamic delay, hang on. Ah yeah, you see here, IZDDLY, so there it is a second time. You know what, for now, let's restart Studio One and see how far we got. Okay, let's check this again. So the VST2 folder, just checking that that everything is gone that I wanted to get rid of. Okay, this looks fine. Now let's check in here again. So delay. Okay, there's still the digital delay in here. So this is still roaming about somewhere else. Not quite sure where it's supposed to be. Wait, let's check common files. VST3, isotope. There it is. Gonna have to close it and open it again later. See if that works then. Distortion, amplitude 4, okay, that's also still in here. Okay, there it shows me this one. Hang on, perhaps I should pay more attention as to how I install my plugins. This is all a mess right now. Klanghelm is still in here. Brainworks, yeah, I also tested out there. Dual rectifier plugin. But man, 150 bucks for one amp plugin. That's boutique. I mean, come on, be real. I mean, granted, you get a lot of stuff with that. You also get a lot of very good impulse responses, and you can do a lot of stuff with the amp. You get all the 3 channels and all a couple different modes with it, but still, it's a lot for just one amp. No, that was not Brainworks, that was Plugin Alliance. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check later if deleting the files is enough or if I have to uninstall everything. Clipfreak is still in here. Oh my goodness, this is annoying. Saturation knob is going to stay, of course. Dynamics. This stupid thing is in there as well. I'm not even sure if deleting the files here is going to do anything. I may have to uninstall everything correctly later on. This is a free low-end filter with a few options. Still gonna have to test that one out. And everything else is Waves plugins, mixing, this is all Waves, GH3 is in here. GTR by Waves is horrible. I don't like this one at all. It's more like, again, old generation modeling. It doesn't hold up against new generation modeling at all. Modulation is also Waves, 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 and Waves. Code Red, this is also a free plugin with the kind of mixing console saturation. You have 2 options here, classic and pop, and a little bit of EQ. This is actually quite nifty. It works quite well on your mix bus. Phaser, Melodyne, yeah, Transient is still in here. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to turn it off and on again, see if that works. Okay, let's check this again. Delay. Ah yeah, see, the dynamic delay is gone. Distortion, okay, those things are gone. Dynamics, that's D, something is gone. And here, transient, yeah, I guess, okay, I guess I'm done. I'm cleaned up now. I'm still going to really uninstall all the stuff here and from all the uninstall files I still have flying around. But otherwise, at least in here in my DAW, my folders are cleaned up now. There's still a lot of stuff going on, of course, but it's not like I use all of that all the time. It's depending on the situation, I use one or the other. And I do have my go-to plugins, but I do have some extra plugins as a backup, given the situation. And I still notice, hey, those are still in here. The plugin Alliance stuff. Why is that? Guess I just have to really uninstall that. Yeah, I'll do that in a bit. But yeah, so far I think I'm done. So here you saw my plugins, what I use, what I don't use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really talk about my go-to plugins though. It also all depends on the application. For drums I use one compressor, and then for vocals I use another compressor, or for bass guitars I again use another compressor, or EQ. So yeah, that would be a video of its own really, to talk about that stuff. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below and have fun mixing, and I will see you next time.